Good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing on this beautiful, balmy December day? I want you to welcome you to the graduating class of December 2015. My name is Melinda Engstrom, and I am the class supervisor for this class. And just a few seconds here, we're going to start bringing in our December graduates. And if we could refrain from clapping until we've got all of them into the room. And I will introduce them as each one comes in. You ready, puppy raisers out there? Introducing James Rayborn and Manfred. Bobby Marshall and Allison. Brenda Rogers and Al. Adele Ritchie and Alexandra. Clarence Eugene Smith and Jean. Terry Hare and Ohio. Elaine Mara and Sis. Kevin Brathwaite and Baxter. Nolan Crabb and Carl. Welcome, graduates of December 2015. You may be seated. By the way, those of you who are watching the beautiful slideshow just a few moments ago of your dogs in action, doing exactly what the puppy raisers out there and volunteers and family and friends, everyone who has supported them to get here today, the puppy raisers, you're going to be getting a copy of that slideshow given to you courtesy of Guiding Eyes, as will our graduating class. For our welcoming remarks, I would like to introduce Tom Panic. He's our president and CEO, and his partner in crime sometimes, Gus.
Good boy, very nice. Sit. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the April graduating class. Unbelievably lucky you guys have been. This is amazing. Yesterday we had a chance to go out to the bike path near a nearby farm, Stewart's Farm. Wonderful couple that's been around for a very long time, allowing us to park there. And we went for a really neat spring walk through the woods. And you puppy raisers would be so proud of these dogs. They just took off and had a joyous time. And if it wasn't for a couple of folks turning back and letting us know we should stop, we would have ended up where, guys? Canada. I'd like to extend our sincere gratitude to David and Barbara Katz, who raised Alexandra. Um, you know, this is their fourth dog for Guiding Eyes. And Alexandra is graduating today alongside Adele, who is from Canada, by the way. And obviously, this is a very special day for them. Interestingly enough, this is the second dog that the Cats have raised that's going to Canada. So it's a little bit coincidental, but fortunately, they've lived in Ottawa, so I think it's a really nice connection. In their words, their graduation sponsorship is in honor of our graduating pup, Alexandra. She talked about crime, right? Did you guys see that? In honor of our Baltimore regions in New Hampshire. Bear with us for one moment. Guess you're going to come over here. We'd also like to extend a very special thank you for the estate of Kroll, and they sponsored some of our veterans in terms of allowing our guide dog programs and services for the military veterans that we have here today. So thank you very much as well. I'm looking forward to our graduating speakers. Kevin lives in Florida, and he's got Baxter, his first guide dog. Currently, he is working at an animal shelter, and in his spare time, he likes to listen to audiobooks and help his neighbors. We also have Nolan and Carl that's going to be speaking to us, and Nolan lives in Ohio and has just received his fourth guide dog, Carl. He has been married for almost 35 years and has 4 grown daughters and 6 grandchildren. I'm also looking forward to Elaine and Sis performing an original piano song, which will be wonderful to hear on our grand piano here. That's very rare, so thank you, Elaine. And I'd like to also say, from the heart that this graduating class, we've had a couple of really special moments together. We got to celebrate Thanksgiving at the school here, and we had a traditional Thanksgiving dinner, and of course had some time together on our trip yesterday, as well as just having time to get to know one another. And as it turns out, we have a lot of mutual friends. Brenda, who works for LC Industries, and I have a couple of very close acquaintances, a small world that it is. So Brenda, thank you for choosing Guiding Eyes. Bobby's from Baltimore, and Bobby also is a mutual friend up in Baltimore at BISM, where he's currently attending their voc rehab classes to teach him how to cook. Speaking of cooking, we did have a couple of people chip in. As you know, we've got Nick and Josh and Maria, Emily in the kitchen that feed our students on a regular basis and do an amazing job at it. A round of applause for the kitchen staff, by the way. But here's the thing, they had a little bit of time off because Eugene, who's from Arkansas, decided he was going to cook a couple of times and ended up actually cooking ribs. What else did you cook, Eugene? Give me a handle here. You did smoked sausage, and there was one more. There were the potato salad, biscuits and gravy. That was it from Arkansas. So you guys ate really well, and we appreciate you giving a helping hand, Eugene. So, just a warm round of applause for a graduating class. Congratulations. Thank you, Dave and Barbara. For those of you watching on YouTube, on the internet, and live streaming, I'd like you to do me a favor. And I would like you to take that link and send it to a friend in spirit of the holidays. As you know, everything we do here today at Guiding Eyes is done through donations and the generous contribution of our donors, without whom we would not be able to do what we did here today. And I'd like to recognize this particular class as a very special class, and here's the reason why. We set a record, 17 graduating students this month. A warm round of applause to the raisers, to the donors, to the staff, and to the students. And finally, a very special thanks to our class supervisor, Melinda, who led this class through all of the efforts of early mornings and late nights to make you get here today. So Melinda, thank you so much for your leadership. I don't want to interrupt the piano solo, but I do want to say one more thing, and that is this year here at Guiding Eyes, we were able to announce a very special person that received an award during this class as Employee of the Year. This person has an outstanding dedication and love for her, quote, poopies, and that's Maria Lazaro. A warm round of applause for Maria Lazaro. I'd like to next introduce our Vice President of Training Programs, the Master of Ceremonies in terms of what these dogs are capable of doing, and certainly someone who's so experienced that every time we have a guide dog come through here, it's not without her oversight, and that is Kathy Zabricki. Kathy, please come up.
Thank you, Tom, and welcome, everyone. Graduations are the most joyous of occasions, and I just would like to ask for a moment, a show of hands, how many people are here for the first time? Oh, you're in for a treat. And I'm certain by the time you leave here, you'll have a greater understanding of the many people involved in making this day a reality. And I would first like to ask all our puppy raisers to please stand up. You are truly extraordinary people, and you've given such a profound gift, a gift that already has made a major impact in another person's life. And there are moments when thank you doesn't seem to be enough, and sometimes thank you is all that there is. So thank you, and we are deeply, deeply grateful to all of you. Now, preparing a young dog to fulfill its role, purpose-bred role as a guide dog takes people with talent, skill, patience, oh, rumbling there, somebody's disagreeing, and dedication. And I am so delighted to acknowledge Alyssa, Eileen, and Melinda, for you embody all those attributes and so many more. And thank you for everything you've done to make this class so successful. And of course, Dan. This class would not run as smoothly as it has without everything you've done to assist the instructors and the students. So thank you so much, Dan, for all your efforts. Thank you. And now to our graduates. Congratulations. This is a wonderful achievement. I can only imagine, though, when you arrived here and took your first walks with your dogs about 3 weeks ago, some of you might have been wondering, what have I done? And how is this all going to work? And yet here you are 3 weeks later, ready to return home. And who knows what adventures, what triumphs, what opportunities are waiting for you, and it must be so exciting. As you prepare to go home, please know that we will always be here to share in your successes and to help you in any way possible, for you are now part of the Guiding Eyes family. And let's have another round of applause for the December 2015 graduating class. And I'd like to close with a little article that one of our graduates wrote about what Guiding Eyes means to her. Because Guiding Eyes exists, the silent are able to find their voice, the lonely find a community, and the newly blind rediscover themselves. The sheltered can find the courage to go out and experience the world. Because of Guiding Eyes, we are all reminded that there is more good and love in the world than we ever imagined. And that's a tribute to each and every one of you, because we could not do this work, we could not be who we are and do what we do without you. So thank you all for sharing in this journey.
Part of every graduation is given over to our students to make their own, for their voice to be heard about their experience. And the first graduate speaker I would like to introduce is Kevin Brathwaite.
Yeah, I'm Kevin, and my dog here is Baxter, and my experience has been pretty good here. At first, I was kind of worried about the outcome, but overall, getting to know the crew here, knowing that they've taken so much into their time to train the dogs, and different activities that they have for us to do to learn routes with the dogs, yet still have fun while we're learning. So I think this is definitely a once in a lifetime experience. And if I do ever get another guide dog, I will definitely be coming back here. So, yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
You?
Well, Dan is speaking for the first time students, and our next graduate speaker is Nolan Crabb, and this is his fourth time around. And I always like to remind Nolan of a little story when he came in for his first guide dog, Hobbit. And we were here 24 hours. He had Hobbit for 24 hours, and he found me in the hallway, and he said, Melinda, so how long does this bonding process take? Because for me, it's already happened. And it wasn't long at all before Hobbit was very, very happy and in love with Nolan.
Thanks very much. Okay, thanks. She would have to mention Hobbit. I was going to get through this really well. I'm honored to be with you. The strategy is that by the time you get the technology settled and the dog settled, that you're done. But it never works quite like that. So we'll do our best. Our best here. Just a second. Sorry. There we go. Oh, I see it. We just had a little problem. Sorry about that. The software wasn't sure what I needed here. I'd rather really not ad-lib this, but we'll do it if we have to. It's not going to work. It did earlier in the room. Sorry. All right. Well, let's just do our best here. He stood by me when I was crazy, recalled General William Tecumseh Sherman, referring to his long-standing association with his friend and associate General Ulysses S. Grant. And I stood by him when he was drunk. And now, sir, we stand by each other always. I've thought about that a lot over the past several weeks. What is the process by which you and I stand by each other always? And especially as it relates to these dogs. It's a wonderful thing to contemplate. And I would suggest to you that there are probably 4 steps involved in the premise of standing by each other always. First, I think we have to seek potential and not instant perfection. Those of you who have raised these dogs from day one understand that as well as anyone. You've lost personal property, hours of your time, and you've been perhaps almost the butt of many a joke on the part of your friends who saw your dog do something entirely crazy and off the wall. And you somehow lived through it because you saw potential. You saw in that dog a kind of tomorrow that was unparalleled in any other creature with whom you'd ever had contact. And then I think the second step in the process is that we develop an unrestrained love. That's crucial in this endeavor. When you think about it, seeing potential rather than demanding perfection immediately is the soil from which springs unrestrained love. I was given a lesson in unrestrained love on November 23rd. On that day, they put a harness in my hand and said, "This is a young black lab male. He's going to guide you for a few feet. We just want to see what it looks like, how it works." I felt almost a kind of life current flowing through that harness handle as we stepped out onto that sidewalk. I didn't know his name. I knew nothing of his background. He had no idea as to mine. But his tiny, noble heart said, "We'll just do this. I'll guide you. I don't know who you are, but they've taught me how, and so whoever you are, we'll make it work." A few of our steps were a little herky-jerky at first, but Eventually we settled in and began the idea that potential was a million steps in the future and 1,000 days of possibilities. And when you feel that kind of potential, you begin to feel a kind of unrestrained love. My classmate, Terry, perhaps put it best of all on the night we walked these dogs for the first time, that remarkable Monday. "I love that little dog," she said, referring to the one with whom she had walked. "I hope I get that one. I just loved her." I thought of Terry's remarks and how unwittingly my classmate had raised the bar for me. She so well taught the concept of unrestrained love. And it is that love that is the author of our successes as we press forward with these dogs. As we see potential and love without restraint, there comes then the ability to behave and to be transparent with these dogs. And that's the third step in this process. If you and I are anything but transparent in our relationship, the relationship is not as likely to succeed as it otherwise can be. In that transparency, those of us who are handlers come to know and understand the needs of our dogs better and better as the days go by. And the dogs, in turn, come to better understand our needs and anticipate them, even in some instances. Those of you who have raised these dogs from the very beginning understand full well that transparency down that leash is a crucial part of your success. They are without guile. They feel our frustration. They experience our joy, just as we are able to capture their joy and their moments of challenge as they reach and learn new things. I learned a great lesson about transparency as a young 9-year-old. I had a rather unhealthy fascination with fire. Mostly the sound of the stuff. I loved what I could do with it, depending on the kind of fuels I added. And unfortunately for me, I had a cousin, a slightly older cousin, who also had a fascination with it for different reasons. On a memorable summer night, on a Friday night, he called me up and said, "Why don't we do a sleep out over here at the house, and you bring the matches? I've got everything else." Well, that was enough for me. So I went into the cupboard where my parents kept boxes and books of matches, and I gathered a rather healthy supply and put them nicely in a bag, sealed it well, put it with the rest of my things, the sleeping bag, all the things you need to go sleep under the stars. And I nonchalantly announced to my dad as I gathered my things together, "I'm ready whenever you are." And then came that voice, that casual question that stopped me in my tracks. "Where are you going with those matches?" I froze with fear. How could he possibly have known? I put them in that bag when he was out of the house. I sealed it circumspectly. I did everything I knew how to do. What I had forgotten, my friends, is that those of you with vision have the ability to see through plastic bags. And I had placed my pyromaniacal supplies in a plastic bag, convinced that there they were safe from the world. All too often in our relationships with these dogs, we approach them with plastic bags filled with mental stuff that can interfere. When we do this labor, oh, how important it is that we approach it transparently so that that love may flow without restraint and that potential may manifest itself on a constant basis. And finally, I think the final outgrowth of these other components is the idea of trust. Trust is the currency and trade by which these relationships are built. These wonderful young dogs trust us to care for them, to protect them, to think and make good decisions about where they will guide, such that they're not forced to guide in unsafe places or in places where the stress is so high that they function only a little. In turn, we trust them to guide safely and well, to think carefully and make good decisions about the path ahead. And in the end, that trust becomes unshakable and the bond unbreakable, stronger even than the mystic cords of death, if I may quote Mr. Lincoln. And so, as we stand here today, I would paraphrase with you General Sherman's words as they apply to Carl and me. He stood by me when I was crazy. and urged him forward to the edge of a train platform. His youthful body turned me to the right, away from the edge, as if to say, "No, no, my friend, life is a gift. Let's celebrate it by walking along this platform, not dangerously close to its edge." So he stood by me when I was crazy, and I stood by him when he was drunk with the love for a brilliant, capable instructor who mentored and taught him so much over a period of 6 months and freely gave back love that he extended to her. And now, from this day forward, may it be said of us and you and all of you who raise these dogs and those who handle them, may it be said of us that we stand by each other always. Thank you for your attendance here. Thank you for your ongoing work with Guiding Eyes. Bye. Let's go. Let's go.
Thank you, Nolan. The next part of our graduate presentation is to a very special group of people in the room. And to do that, I'm going to introduce Maria Lazaro, who is our breeding kennel manager. Maria?
Hello, everyone. Well, this is just a glorious day. And as I look at all your beautiful dogs lying up here in front of me, I can honestly say I knew them when they were just a gleam in their daddy's eye. And now they're all grown up doing what they're meant to do. We are so proud, and we have so much pride and love for them. So on behalf of the Canine Development Center, I'd like to extend our heartfelt and sincere congratulations to the graduating class of December 2015 and their beautiful guiding eyes. It is truly an honor and a pleasure to be able to share this day with you. I have the best job in the whole world. I go to work every day and I'm surrounded by love and joy and happiness and wagging tails and wet kisses and all the fur any woman could want in her lifetime. But on a more serious note, the journey of a Guiding Eyes puppy is a long one. And it doesn't happen without dedicated staff, generous donors, and our team of over 1,500 volunteers who play a very important role in their journey. From our brood stud fosters, our early socializers, home litter care families, puppy sitters, region coordinators, kennel and administrative staff in Yorktown and Patterson, tour leaders and ambassadors. And they say it takes a village to raise a child. And finally, I want to say a very special thank you to our puppy raisers. These people take these lovely little puppies when they're 8.5 weeks old into their home. They love them, they care for them, they nurture them, they train them, they stay up late with them when they're sick. They stand by them, and then they give the ultimate gift. They give them up. And while I say it's the hardest job at Guiding Eyes, it's also the most rewarding. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for all you do. Big round of applause for our raisers. And I also have to take a minute to thank some very special people at the Canine Development Center. And they are the Whelping Kennel, the Breeding Kennel, and the Home Socialization Program. And there's some Breeding Kennel staff here. Would you guys stand? Bethany, Betsy, who else is here? These guys help give these puppies a really wonderful start. So thank you, guys. And now for the fun part. When I call your name, please have a family member come up to accept your certificate. First, we have Matt Marshall, Dutchess Region, raiser of Guiding Eyes, Al. He could not be here with us today. Okay. Barbara and David Katz, New Hampshire, raiser of Guiding Eyes, Alexandra. Congratulations. The Ellswick family, Cleveland West, Raisers of Guiding Eyes Allison. Congratulations. The Doney family, Northern New York, Raiser of Guiding Eyes Baxter. Congratulations. Mike and Linda Williams, Delmarva, Raiser of Guiding Eyes Carl. Congratulations. Don and Joanne Shepard, Central New York, Raisers of Guiding Eyes Jean. Nina Bershig, Cleveland East, Raiser of Guiding Eyes Manfred. Anna and Melissa Coleman, New Hampshire, Raisers of Guiding Eyes Ohio. Lauren and Meredith Rice, Monroe, New York, Raisers of Guiding Eyes Sis. And in our home training program, we have Karina Wagner, Finger Lakes, Raiser of Guiding Eyes Arthas. Catherine and Les, they're not here. Catherine and Les Feldisi from Richmond, Raiser of Guiding Eyes Caitlin. Also a special thanks to these wonderful people. They have built and donated some beautiful puppy toys for us. So thank you, Kathy and Les. The puppies love them. Alyssa Wetterall from Finger Lakes, New York, Raiser of Guiding Eyes Crystal. Congratulations. Am I going a little too fast for you, Melinda? Crystal. Sue and John Thibodeau, Eastern Mass, Raisers of Guiding Eyes Nicole. They could not be here. Jody McCain, Montgomery, Raisers of Guiding Eyes Omar. David and Margie Waters, Catoctin, Raisers of Guiding Eyes Wilbur. In our special needs program, Carrie Barnett, Bay Region, Raisers of Guiding Eyes Justin. Yay, Carrie. Carrie used to be a regional manager for Guiding Eyes. Nellie Gertzberg, Cleveland West, and Sarah Hill, Cleveland West. Raisers of dual career Guiding Eyes and Stud Lou. So, from small beginnings come great things. And now I'd like to introduce future Guiding Eyes, the lovely Naboo and her brother, the handsome Neutron. They will be available for autographs in the groom room after graduation, so go down and meet them. They would love to meet you. And if you have any family members or anyone that would like to join our family, we would love to have you, so spread the word. And in closing, I have a quote that I'd like to share with you. It's one of my favorite for graduation. He is your friend, your partner, your defender, your dog. You are his life, his love, his leader. He will be yours faithful and true to the last beat of his heart. You owe it to him to be worthy of such devotion. Thank you. God bless you all and keep you safe.
Thank you. Now for the second half of our graduate presentations, Kevin is going to return to the podium where he has an original poem he's going to recite for you.
And so, okay. You guys might hear some in the background. It's my iPad talking. But you guys may have noticed I haven't really said much earlier, but that's because I tried to save that to say things prior to the poem. So one of the things I wanted to say that I wanted to share is that inspired my poem was some experience that I had with Baxter. We went walking in Manhattan, and at one point Baxter turned right and then turned back left. I didn't know why. Later on, Alyssa had told me that one of the basements to the stores was wide open, and Baxter had taken me around it. And I saw that very touching because if it was just me and my cane, I would have went head first. so so yeah, that's one of the things that inspired me with the poem. The other thing that inspired me with the poem is while I was sitting down thinking about the actual poem, how I'm gonna write it, who I'm gonna write it to. Um, and usually a whole bunch of different thoughts came to mind on the puppy raisers, the people who work, the people who volunteer, the things the dogs did, the fun we have with them, the different things we do working with them, and stuff like that. So all of that, I combined it into one poem, and the poem is out to the staff, the volunteers, the puppy raisers, and the dogs. So, like I said, if you guys hear anything, it's my iPad speaking in the background. I might pause from time to time. So, there we go. Oh, sorry. To the who work here, we appreciate you. For all who volunteer here, we love you all too. The dogs really amaze us with the things they do, and the puppy raisers play a big part in the crew. We love these dogs, there's no doubt. And now I ask, how did I do without? Yes, they are puppies and they love to run about. But when they are working, they stay on the route. We have memories yet to come. Our fun and work is not yet done. The start line we have just come from. Yes, there is work, but there is lots of fun. At first, we may have been nervous. We may have thought it had been a lot more serious. The reality of it all is much more gracious. It's simply bonding between the dogs and us. And so, and so I have one more thing to say to you, and I think you know what I'm going to say too. There's only one thing to do, and that is to say thank you.
Our next presentation is an original piano composition by Elaine. So I'm going to walk this microphone back there so we can put it in our boom mic. Hello, Marianne. Thank you, Elaine. That was beautiful. A man once said that it's not what we say about our blessings, but how we use them. That's the true meaning of our Thanksgiving. And this class was held over Thanksgiving, as was mentioned earlier in the program. In fact, our chefs created a huge, bountiful feast, and we joined with staff members and volunteers that were here on that Thanksgiving day as our graduates, many of them far from home, Oregon, Florida, Canada, Arkansas, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Ohio. They come from all walks of life, North Carolina and Baltimore, to share this Thanksgiving with us. And I've been reflecting over the month with sharing Thanksgiving, and I actually really love sharing Thanksgiving with class, not only because I enjoy the classes, but also because I enjoy having 2 Thanksgivings. I'll be honest, one here and then one when I go home. But I was thinking about the blessings I received and thinking about that quote, how we use our blessings as a true measure of our Thanksgiving. And my first true blessing, I could say, is coming to work at such a wonderful organization with the company of such wonderful people, staff, and volunteers, but also getting to work with and teach the wonderful people that walk through our doors. And, each class has its own life, and I never know, too far ahead of time what friends are returning and what new friends we may be making that walk through those doors. But each friend that comes through the door and each friend that I work with over the years have taught me so much about being a better human being, and I feel really blessed for that. So I am really honored to have shared Thanksgiving with all of you. And when you return home, I have every confidence. I know that you're going to fly. You're going to fly out these doors on wings of 4 furry feet. And, the beginning of class, I always tell students, you're going to feel like you have 6 left feet when you first start working with your guide dog, which is true. But in just a matter of a very short time, when you're working so fluidly together as one, it's hard to remember when you first started training on that bicycle. And now, just a few days ago, several of you were in Manhattan, and several of you were navigating through complex malls and grocery stores. And that's just truly wonderful. And I feel really blessed to have been a part of that, to have shared that with you. So the part of the graduation that you've been waiting for is we officially hand you your diplomas. And we're going to start that now. James, Rayburn, and Manfred, congratulations. And James is from James is from Oregon. Bobby Marshall and Allison, and he's from Baltimore, Maryland. Congratulations, Bobby. Brenda Rogers and Al from Raleigh, North Carolina. Congratulations. Adele Ritchie and Alexandra from Kitchener, Ontario. Congratulations. Clarence Eugene Smith and Jean from Rosebud, Arkansas. Congratulations. Terry Hare and Ohio from Deerfield Beach, Florida. Congratulations. Elaine Mara and Sis from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Congratulations. Kevin Brathwaite and Baxter from Deltona, Florida. Congratulations. Nolan Crabb and Ohio from Columbus, Ohio. Nolan Crabb and Carl from Columbus, Ohio. Congratulations. I would also like at this time for Alyssa Tilley and Elaine Thompson and Dan Wiesner to please stand up and face the room. And I want to congratulate the three of you, Alyssa and Eileen, for training such a wonderful string and turning these young pups that came in and through their university training of guide work and turning them into wonderful guide dogs. Congratulations. And to Dan, class and strings we would not be able to operate without our instructor assistants and their staff who hope to become instructors one day themselves. And Dan's incredible support has been, he was there, he was psychic. He could tell what we needed before we even asked it of him. He's also going to be conducting the tour later on after the ceremony. So congratulations, Dan. Thank you very much. For our closing remarks, I would like to introduce our own Becky Davidson and her sometimes partner in crime, Lawson. She is our Manager of Consumer Outreach and Graduate Support.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this lovely April afternoon here at Guiding Eyes for the Blind. You know, though, and we do talk about the weather because it impacts so many things, and especially during class. A year ago, my husband was in class, and the weather was nowhere near this nice. So we're going to pay. But at any rate, it really doesn't matter what month it is or what the weather is. Graduation at Guiding Eyes is always a celebration. It's a celebration of commitment, it's a celebration of love, and it's a celebration of a new partnership that is just beginning. And so I am so happy to be able to stand here and say congratulations to my fellow graduates. Excuse me. You know what? They are still dogs. We talk about them as these amazing, incredibly intuitive, intelligent beings, and that they are, but they are still dogs. You should see them when their harnesses are off, right? But these partnerships are just beginning, and the joy is just really beginning to show. And so I would like to, and I'm sure that Elaine, Eugene, and Nolan will happily join me, because they're Guiding Eyes veterans, in welcoming, I have to get this right, Adele, Bobby, Brenda, James, Kevin, and Terry to our Guiding Eyes graduate family, an extended family of raisers, staff, volunteers, donors, and friends. Knowing that, as Nolan so eloquently said, we will stand together always. You know what? It's what we do here at Guiding Eyes. So congratulations to my fellow graduates, all 9 of you here, and the other 8 of you who received your dogs in our home training program. We're very proud of all of you. Give yourselves a big hand. You worked hard, you deserve it. Just a couple closing remarks. Melinda mentioned that Dan will be leading a tour of our kennel in probably, about half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour. In the meantime, there are the pups down in the grooming room awaiting you to come and cuddle them. I don't think anybody really wants to do that, though, right? And we also have refreshments upstairs in the dining room. And our souvenir and gift shop across the hall here is open and has some really cool stuff in it. If you haven't finished your Christmas shopping yet, hey, check it out. I do want to ask, though, before you rush the front of the room as soon as I say go, that you give our graduates just a minute or two to get the dogs out of harness and ready to greet their friends. So have a wonderful afternoon here at Guiding Eyes. Have a wonderful holiday season. Thank you for coming, and thank you for everything. Have a great day.